Hey everyone, my name is Chris and this is my crochet story. Um, I've always had difficulty learning how to crochet. I tried several times with several people, most of them family members. I've never really gone to take a class at Michael's or anything like that because they were a little bit pricey, and to be honest, they didn't fit in my schedule. So so I didn't even try because with the people that I've tried with, it was so difficult and I was like so frustrated that I just didn't want to spend more money on it. It kind of got deterred. So I've been trying to learn how to crochet for several years now. I think since I was like 15 years old or something like that. I'm 30 now. So you can imagine, and I just barely learned how to crochet 6 months ago, last Christmas actually. Well, the reason why I was so into crocheting is because we usually do these little tea napkins that we use for our tortillas. Yes, I'm Mexican, so we usually do it. We have like a little cozy, and we put the napkin on there, and we keep our tortillas or our flatbreads warm like that. So we usually do needlework, and we do like a trim around it, and it's usually crochet, and it's usually done with a 1.65 needle and or crochet hook and a type of yarn that it's called crystal yarn, and it's that thin, really almost flossy looking kind of yarn, which is this one, and it's a very thin gauge on it. So I always try to crochet, but I never could. It always seems so difficult, really difficult. But that was the reason why I was interested in crocheting. Usually what happens is that you display your tortillas when you have people come over or your family members or things like that. Usually all of us check out the tortilla napkin to see how good our skills in embroidery and crochet is. Usually, um, usually we show off, I guess, in that sense, kind of. Well, so that's the reason why I was trying to crochet, and it never really happened. I tried with my aunt, who is an avid crocheter, and she knows how to knit with needles and other items like hat knitting and knitting with doing lace with the two, I don't know what it's called, but it's with the two sticks, and then you work back and forth and you do kind of like lace as well. So she is very crafty. She knows how to do a lot of crafts and stuff like that. So I tried learning from her, and it never really took. And I tried to learn how to crochet from my mother-in-law once I got married, and I would sit for hours with her. Um, in the front of the house, at the porch, she would have napkin her napkin making spot. Like, it was this spot where she would sit down under the sun and when it was cold, or in the shade when it was really hot, and she would spend hours doing needlework and different kinds of needlework, and then she would do this awesome crochet edgings on them. Actually, this is one of hers. I've stole it from her one time when she sent over some food, and she kind of put this on top to kind of give it a decoration, and it's like my favorite tortilla napkin. As you can see, it's a little bit dirty. I grabbed it from the dirty clothes because I don't have any clean ones right now. I'm doing laundry, but this is her work, and this is her original work. She does all of this freehand, so she's very awesome. But she, for some reason, couldn't teach me how to crochet for the life of her. So I do decent needlework. I'm not an expert, but I do okay needlework. But for crocheting, I couldn't figure it out. She tried so many times, I couldn't figure it out. Both of their systems were to make me sit and do chains. I would sit there and do chains and chains and chains, and it was boring, and I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to hold the crochet hook, and they tried to explain to me, but I just couldn't grasp the concept. I just don't know why. I just couldn't do it. And it was just like such a bummer for me because I did not want to spend $10 to $15 purchasing these or send them out to another lady to have the edgings done. Usually there is ladies at the swap meet that do that. They'll either sell them to you already made, or they'll do the edgings for you if you don't know how to do that. So I did not want to rely on other people for my napkins. It was embarrassing. My aunt had to give me a couple because I did not know how to crochet. My mother-in-law gave me a couple as well, or some of them I stole because I did not know how to crochet. So yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to start crocheting. And when I finally figured it out last year during Christmas, that all thanks to Yolanda from the All Crafts channel. A big shout out to you. Thank you very much. You've just made one of my resolutions come true, to learn how to crochet. I don't know what it is from that lady, but she was such a good teacher, and I still keep on looking in her channel to brushing up on certain things that I don't know because I'm a beginner. You know, I'm like just barely started, like I told you last Christmas. And yeah, okay, so I started crocheting. When I first started crocheting, I started crocheting these little beanies that they have, you know, like the character beanies. Last year they were a big hit with the young kids. I would see them all around my daughter's school, and you know, like, you know, I didn't know where to buy them, and when I figured out where to buy them, they were super expensive. Some people were, they range from $15 to almost $45. I've seen them in Etsy and in Pinterest and all of that, all these people showing off their work and selling their work, and you know what, it's worth it because, you know, their price, because it takes a lot of time and it takes patience, and yeah, your hands sometimes cramp up or whatever. You know, it is totally worth it. But for me, to be honest, I didn't want to spend that much money on it because I didn't know if she was gonna wear them, how long she was gonna plan to wear them for, and things like that. So, you know, I didn't want to go that route, and I really wanted to learn how to crochet. So when I started researching, I ended up, you know, finding that channel from Yolanda, from the All Craft channel, and oh my God, she just explained it in such a simple way that actually this was my first beanie that I did. And as you can see, like I told you, I had such a difficult time learning how to crochet, and the beanie is not that bad. I mean, to me, I was amazed with myself. You know, like it's not like lumpy or I'm missing like stitches or anything like that. It was very simple. She made it very fun. She made it very simple. She made it relaxing for me because when I started to learn, like it was very frustrating. I would get frustrated. I would get very discouraged because things didn't just come out the way that I wanted them to. And I think it also has to do with the fact that I was learning from people that have been crocheting for years, and they're not really they're very stick to their own way of doing, so their way is the right way and everybody else's way is not really up to par, or that's not the right way to crochet. So that really like set me back. And I think that the most important thing when you start a new craft, whatever it is to make it your own and to be okay with it not being perfect the first time. Being okay with trial and error, and also you know, like you don't have to spend a lot of money to start a new craft. I know crafts become very expensive and very addicting, and that's one of the reasons why I am very careful with the new crafts that I pick up, because I don't want to overspend money on things that, you know, they're not necessarily essential for living or for my household or anything like that. I don't want to overspend on anything, so I usually recycle a lot, and a lot of my crafts that I do involves recycling of some sort. For example, with crocheting, I recycled a lot of like bags to put these bags to put my projects in and stuff like that. So I'll talk about that a little bit more, but I wanted to show you the kind of stuff that I did. So this is one of the beanies that I got from from Yolanda from the All Craft channel. I followed her I crocheted along her when she was making this beanie, and it was very easy. And this is the first time I ever picked up a crochet hook. And I think that's another reason why I couldn't handle crocheting when all those times that I tried. It was that there was really no purpose of me making all those chains. I felt like I was just wasting my time, and I didn't see anything in the end, any productive thing in the end, so it kind of discouraged me. But making these easy beanies and having that sense of accomplishment after making it, it kind of encouraged me to learn more, to try to learn more techniques in crocheting and improving on my crocheting. And this was one of the other beanies that I tried, and I did change her pattern a little bit in the features of the face, but like the beanie is her pattern, and the horns are her pattern, and this is her idea as well, but she didn't do as much, or as I used a different technique to fray the little hairs. And also the nose, I made this pattern myself, and I was so excited because the nose that she made, it was okay, it was an embroidered nose, but I just felt like it just didn't give the look that I wanted. So I ended up crocheting the nose. So I made a pattern for it. As you can see, it's a 3D nose, and and then I added lips and teeth and gaps in the teeth, and it brought the beanie to life. You can go into her channel, the Off Craft channel, Yolanda, and get these patterns. She still has them up, and they're really fun, but I will do a tutorial on the nose and the lips and the teeth later on, so in case you guys want to add those little extras on there. And I didn't know that you can actually, there's a whole craft of toy making for crochet. It's called I can't even pronounce it, but they teach you can go and get books from there, or go online and look at their patterns on the toys, and you can borrow a lot of the little features that they put on their toys to put on hats. And I'll talk about that in a little bit later, how you need to make the patterns your own to have that look that you want, because everybody crochets differently. So this is the other monster hat, and the popular Mickey Mouse hat, or mouse hat, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know if that's a correct term, but yeah, this one I'm actually put stuffing on the ears, and they stand up, and they're a little bit more stiff. And I also added the buttons. She has them as well, but in a different little look. And then this one I did not crochet. I did it with the loom knitting. I picked that up as well, but it's a little bit complicated. I felt like it looks really good. It looks like you needed it, like if you don't know how to knit, loom knitting, it's a great alternative for hats. It gives you that great knitted look, and it's like a double stranded one, so they're very warm and soft, and they're more for the warmth. And yeah, you can do little patterns on them as well, but if you see, this is very thin. Yeah, it gives you warm, but it's not as if you were to have something that is knitted. You see the thickness, because it's a double strand, it's much, I guess, a fuller beanie. When you wear it and stuff too, it's much warmer. So this is a pattern that I got from this blogger, and I don't really remember her. I'm sorry, but yeah, this one was a long time ago. I think it was before I even picked up crocheting. So it was a very long time ago, and I don't remember keeping the name of it. I never thought I was gonna do a YouTube channel. I just started, and that's why I'm rambling, because this is my first video and I just want to get over the nerves in talking to the camera. And later on I'll show more of my face and do like a kind of like a face-to-face kind of chat, but I just want to get over with the jitters and stuff like that. So that's why I'm making this video, to kind of get used to being in front of the camera and talking, and maybe later on I won't rabble as much, and I'm kind of nervous, so I kind of mess up on the words, but it's okay. So this is the one that I did with the loom knitting, and I will teach a tutorial on this one. I'll try to research the person that I got the pattern from, so that you guys kind of check out what she's done and try to yeah, to use some of her patterns or whatever. But right now I don't know her exact blog name or channel. I don't think it was a channel. I think it was mainly a blog, and I think that's why it was so difficult, because at that time I tried to YouTube a lot of like loom knitters, like round loom knitters, but there wasn't that many, and the hats that they made, to be honest, they were kind of like, I don't know, I didn't like them, so I went on a blog for this one for sure. And then I did this one, and this one I got it from a pattern book that I bought at Walmart for loom knitting. I'm not sure what brand it is, but I got it from there, and it's like the popcorn stitch. It's like those bubbles. And actually I'm gonna post a picture, because I don't have the beanie itself. I actually gave it to my nephew, but I used the same pattern to make a red monster beanie. I think it's from Yoga Gaba Mono, and it came out really, really good. I actually incorporated loom knitting and crocheting, and you know what? I think that was one of my best hats that I've made. So these are some of the hats that I've done, and I also started doing these little baskets. They're made from plastic bags, like grocery bags that you get when you go to the market. And I got this pattern from Yolanda from the Off Craft channel. She does a pattern for a baby basket. She does it with the super thick baby blanket yarn. So I said, okay, well, if she's doing it with that, why can't I do it with a plastic bag? It got to the point where I would forget to take my bags to recycle at Walmart or another store that offer those bins to recycle your plastic bags, because I'm very big in recycling and reusing your stuff, and making certain things practical. And I don't really like clutter. I try to keep my life clutter free. So these are this is the basket that I've made, and I used like 5 bags or 5 strands, 5 strands together, and this one's very, very thick and very very stiff, and I'm using these, actually this size, to separate or to organize my drawers and my husband's drawers. Like, I put his belts here, and I'll line them up, and I put it in his with his socks and stuff, and that way everything's organized. And I'm gonna be making more of these to organize all my drawers like that, so that there is no mess. And when I do laundry, I'm just take off the baskets and I put all that stuff. That way I'm not struggling with big piles of laundry to go put them away in the closets and in all the drawers and stuff like that. So yeah, and I'm gonna make some also for family members, and I mean, they don't cost anything because they're made out of plastic bags. So yeah, and then I made this other one, and this pattern, actually I made it without even making it. Like, I got the pattern for the simple hat. I just added more rows, and I'll show you how to make it as well. I added more rows, and I actually, instead of doing a double crochet stitch, I did a half double crochet, so that it's much tighter, and and it's not as flimsy, because the two double crochet, it's more of a spacious kind of look, and the half double, it's very tight, a very tight stitch. Okay, So this is the one that I've made, and I keep all my face towels in here. When I wash my face, I just pop them in there. I don't want to spend time folding them, so I do it here, and I keep it in next to my vanity, and I just pop them out and like that. So it's very practical, and it didn't cost me anything. And this ribbon, I also got it from this basket that they gave me, and I always save my ribbons. I have a little thing with full of ribbons that they come either when I get gifts or when I buy a certain item and their box is really pretty and it comes decorated. Once I don't use that box or recycle it, I always take out the ribbons and stuff like that to use in other things. I also made this one, this size, and this one's a little bit more flimsy because I did it with less strands. So the more strands of plastic that you use, the more stiff, the more rigid the box is or the basket becomes. But the less strands that you use, the more flimsy. The other boxes that I made, it took a lot of force to get through the stitches sometimes because they were so tight, so my wrist would get tired, and I just realized that I don't really, for certain things, I really don't need it that strong. So this one goes in in a place where I need it to be flexible and stuff. I didn't need it that strong. And the great thing about this is that you can fold them, and if I would you can put them away if you don't need to use them. And also they're plastic, so if something drops in here, you can clean it and wash it and let it dry, and nothing would happen to it. You're not gonna get it stained. You're not gonna have like wet stuff and stuff in it. Or if, for example, this one, I use it to put all my hair products, like my night creams for my hair, and my serums, my serums for my hair, and my hairsprays, and all that products that I use for my hair. I use it here. I put it here because it's flexible, and sometimes the bottles are very like different shapes, so I kind of stuff them all in here because I like to keep everything in one place. So if something were to drop or anything, I can just clean it or wash it out and it won't get ruined. Because I purchased something similar, and kid you not, this little bin, it's so flimsy, and it cost me $7.50, just this size, just like that, just because it had that crochet or knitted look. It cost me a pretty penny, and to be honest, yes, you can wash these, but they lose their shape like crazy. So what I would have to do for this to keep its shape, if I want it to be rigid, I have to put another like box in here. Like I was doing that, I was putting a cardboard box in here so it could keep the shape. And I mean, that kind of defeats the purpose of spending so much money on these bags. I mean, I don't know what you want to call them, baskets or bags or whatever, and for you to like be so flimsy and stuff. And I've noticed that a lot of organization stuff, they're pretty pricey. Even if you go to Marshalls or Ross or like any discount stores, you're gonna still pay about $7 and up for little baskets or little crochet things. And I'm pretty sure that you can use the same technique and make bigger ones, like for your dirty clothes and things like that. I'm gonna try to save plastic bags and do one of those big baskets. I want to do for maybe as a gift, as a gift. I don't know if they're for my mom or for my aunt. They use a lot of like laundry baskets and stuff, and they usually tend to buy those expensive wicker ones, and they end up having to replace those baskets every 1.5 to 2 years because the kids are not careful and they end up getting messed up and all of that, and they spend about $40 and up in those baskets. So I was thinking of maybe doing something like that, and I'm gonna try maybe to paint them, to decorate them maybe with either Sharpie markers, or I'm gonna see what other kind of paint can I use with this kind of plastic. I don't know, I'm gonna try and see. I like this look. I like this rustic look, and I like the way the pattern using different color plastic bags. So I'm not gonna, for my house, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I like that. I like the patterns, and you can do many sizes and have them fit together and make them as a gift. And I will make a tutorial to how to make these and how to make the yarn as well. Oh, and on this one, I did do a border on it. So you can use it as a drawstring bag, so you can close it like that and it would close, or I chose to use it like that as a decorative ribbon, just making it keep open because that's what I need it for. So that's what I chose to do.